Now, seminar selling is this cliche where you run a workshop or a seminar or a conference or something, and you bring people in and you teach them all about the topic. Now, they've been going for years now, financial advisors and mortgage advisors to a degree, but mostly financial planners, wealth managers. They hire a posh hotel, bring people in, nice leaflets, they put some canapes on the table, some wine in the corner, and they present financial stuff, educating the customer. And that's the point, really. The objective has never changed, but the venue's beginning to change. So no longer are we looking at doing rooms or hotel foyers or whatever. We're doing this all online. So the model's been around for ages, but we're now migrating to the online one. So you're doing seminar or webinar, as we like to call it, of course. The webinar, it's just a play on it, selling itself. Now, the objective is very much the same. The content is the same. What we're looking to do here is to inform and educate customers, potential customers, with the ultimate aim of getting them to come talk to you on a one-to-one basis. So you can set the clock going, to start charging a fee. So that's the ultimate aim. Bring a load of people in a room, educate them, inform them, give them information, show them how knowledgeable you are, experienced you are, and get them to make appointments to come and see you about their financial planning. So that's the objective, it hasn't changed. So the biggest mistake, though, that many make is they give too much information. They just blurt out everything they know about financial planning and mortgages, etc., which is fine. But at the end of the day, you've got to realize what is the real reason why we're doing this, and prevent that mistake from happening. So the secret then is to hold back a little on what you present to your attendees. And there's two secrets here for you. There's two things to think about. The first one is when you present your content, don't just chuck out information, because that's what we just call noise. Now, there's plenty of noise on the internet. Noise about mortgages, noise about insurance products, noise about landlord properties, noise about holiday lets. There's just noise everywhere, and don't just go adding to the noise, because that's no good. Because there's some pretty decent free stuff on the internet. You go on YouTube now and you key in mortgages or financial planning or whatever. There's some pretty good stuff there that people put on YouTube for free, where they finance by adverts. So it's good quality. So don't just add to the noise. What you want to do is, first of all, speak to your audience about the problems that they face. So when you start talking to them, talk about the problems that your audience are facing. So hopefully you get to know who your audience are, and you've obviously been very selective as to who you invite along. So you explain the problems, and then you explain the implications of the problems if it continues. Then you introduce the answers to the problems, which makes sense really, isn't it? And then you introduce solutions. But what you do here is you introduce generic solutions. Generic solutions. So number one is problems, two, the answers, and three are generic solutions. And I'll tell you why in a second. Let's give you an example. So say, for example, you brought a load of landlords in, because you're part of that area, and you brought some people in who are potential landlords. And you explain to them the potential problem is this, that yields from renting properties are falling. So the average buy-to-let property, because of the tax changes, etc., stamp duty changes, the yields are falling, particularly in high-price areas. And you talk about the problems that causes, the issues that causes people. They'll all be nodding away. Then you introduce the answers, and the answers might be to move your portfolio to more sort of houses of multiple occupations, or HMOs, where it's like student blocks, actually, or holiday let mortgages, which of course with staycationing is like booming the industry as well. Or you might look at residential conversions. So you're buying a commercial, getting planning to convert it to residential, and then hiving off into flats, apartments, and renting those out instead. So massive yield on those. Big planning permission changes coming up, of course, in that area. But that's all generic, isn't it? Generic solutions. What you then do is you do a call to action. And the call to action is, let's just put that here for you. The call to action is, so there's your solutions. The call to action is that I've given you some solutions. If you want to talk to this on a one-to-one where we can tailor those solutions to your situation, let's fix up a 15-minute discovery call so we can talk about this and how we can go about it. So it's quite simple, really. The call to action, one-to-one, virtual, go for video, because it's all online, this stuff, video, one-to-one video call with you on your dollar, 15-minute discovery call to find out if you can help them with their individual circumstances. And then ultimately, of course, you go on to a fact find. If you can, you start charging. And that's how you go about doing the process of selling on a webinar or a seminar. Now, the second secret to getting the business here is to stop just giving out noise. Stop just giving out general information. We talked about what noise is. And what we do here is we ask you to interpret the noise to tailor it to the clients that you have in the room. We ask you to not worry too much about generics, but start to focus on the problems, for example, for landlords rather than general problems for property investors. The answers, of course, can be more tailored and more specific to people. Obviously, the individual solution to their needs comes later because that's your call to action. But the second secret is to get rid of just standardized stuff and start to be more precise with the audience you've got in front of you. And that's the key, really. It's not rocket science at the end of the day. It is something that is quite easy to do. There's a lot of tech to organize and set up. Got to invite people, use Eventbrite or something to get people along to your meetings and then present them really well, of course. Got to get your videos right and your lighting right and your audio and all those things. It's got to be all top notch, of course it has. And it will be, because you'll want to make sure it's great. Then you present, you take questions, make it interactive as much as possible. And remember the call to action at the end for you to follow up to fix up this this magical sort of, well, I call it sort of the 10 to 15 minutes, because that's not frightening for people. Discovery call, again, that's not frightening, where you and I sit down, talk about your issues, see if we can help you. And if we can help you, we'll take it to the next stage. And that's, of course, when you start charging. And that's how you run webinars. I hope that's been useful.